You ever feel like you're in a constant battle with your own brain just to get the simplest things done? Well, today we are unlocking 7 science backed brain hacks that are designed specifically for the unique wiring of the ADHD brain. Let's jump right in. Okay, let's start with the most important idea, the one thing you have to get. It's not about fixing something that's broken, it's about learning to use a completely different and, in many ways, more powerful operating system. So first things first, we've got to completely reframe how we think about ADHD. This is all about moving away from that negative self-talk and moving towards real, genuine understanding. What I love about this is how it translates all those old criticisms into actual neuroscience. You see that feeling of being lazy or having no discipline? Nope, that's a dopamine regulation difference. That struggle to just try harder, that's literally your brain's executive functions being wired in a different way. It's biology, not a moral failing. But to really make these hacks stick, you gotta understand the why behind them, right? And it all comes down to your brain's unique fuel system. So here's the key. ADHD isn't really an attention deficit, it's a dopamine regulation difference. This is exactly why you can get lost for hours in a video game, but feel physically unable to start a boring email. Your brain isn't lazy, it's just understimulated and desperately searching for that dopamine hit to get going. All right, let's get to the good stuff, the toolkit. We're gonna dive into 7 super actionable strategies, and they're all based on the science we just covered. Since your brain is always on a hunt for stimulation, our first hack is all about giving it what it wants, but on our terms. You're going to create your own personal menu of quick little motivation boosters that you can use before you even think about starting a task. And look, these are not just random distractions. No way. These are precision tools. A 2-minute dance break isn't wasting time. It's a strategic microdose of dopamine that literally wakes up the front part of your brain. See? You're not relying on willpower. You're using neuroscience. Okay, this next one is going to sound a little weird, but trust me, it's a game changer. It's called the body double effect, and it's basically like outsourcing your focus. Studies show that just having another person in the room, they don't even have to talk, they can just be there on a silent video call, can massively increase your ability to get stuff done. You know that feeling, staring at a task, knowing you have to do it, but you are just completely frozen? That's what we call ADHD paralysis. And it's not procrastination. It's a neurological freeze response. Your brain gets so overwhelmed that it perceives the task as a threat and just shuts down. So here's how you break that freeze. You make a deal with your brain. You say, look, we only have to do this for 5 minutes. That's it. By lowering the stakes, you bypass that threat response and you kickstart the task initiation part of your brain. Honestly, the hardest part is the first 20 seconds. Once you're moving, your brain starts making its own dopamine, creating its own momentum. Let's talk about time, or more accurately, how the ADHD brain perceives time. For many, it's not a smooth line. It's binary. There's only now and not now. We call this time blindness, and it's why trying to plan or estimate how long something will take can feel almost impossible. So how do you work around time blindness? You stop relying on abstract clocks. Instead, you use what are called time anchors. You link your tasks to real, physical, sensory events. This gives your brain a structure it can actually feel and understand. See how these are all tangible? A playlist has a definite end you can hear. A kettle makes a noise. The sun physically moves. These anchors give your brain solid cues to measure the passage of time, which is so much more effective than just watching numbers on a screen. All right, our next hack is maybe the simplest one on this list, but it is incredibly powerful. And it all comes down to this one single number. The rule is just this: one task, one window, one tab. Because here's the thing, ADHD is an executive function challenge. Every single extra tab you have open is another tiny decision, another distraction that drains your mental battery. This rule slashes that cognitive cost, which frees up your brain for that deep, immersive focus you're capable of. Okay, this next one, this is a big one. It's one of the most painful and honestly most misunderstood parts of having ADHD. It's called rejection-sensitive dysphoria, or RSD. And it's not just being sensitive, it's a real neurological hypersensitivity. It's why a short text message can feel like a devastating personal attack. You are not being dramatic. So how in the world do you manage it? With a technique called emotional reframing. This 4-step process helps you hit the pause button on that emotional spiral. Just doing step 1, naming the trigger, has actually been shown in brain scans to calm down the amygdala, the emotional center of your brain. You're basically using your logic to talk your feelings off a lead. I absolutely love this quote because it perfectly sums up our final hack. Stop trying to force yourself to behave differently and instead change the world around you so that the right choice becomes the easiest choice. It's a fact. The ADHD brain is just more influenced by its surroundings. So use that to your advantage. Design your environment for success. Put your running shoes right by the door where you'll literally trip on them. Keep your water bottle directly in your line of sight. Every little change you make reduces the number of decisions you have to make, which saves that precious executive function for the stuff that actually matters. Okay, we've spent a lot of time on the challenges, but it is absolutely crucial that we talk about the flip side. Because this brain of yours, it comes with some incredible built-in strengths. Let's talk about your superpowers. And listen, these aren't just feel-good buzzwords. These are real, research-backed advantages. The ability to see connections no one else does, that laser-like hyper-focus on something you're passionate about, that deep well of empathy. These are the gifts that come with this wiring. This brain is literally built for creativity and innovation. So if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. The problem has never, ever been your brain. It's been using the wrong user manual. Success isn't about forcing yourself to fit into a neurotypical world. It's about working with your brain's wiring, not against it. And that's really the final thought I want to leave you with. What if those very things that you've always seen as your biggest challenges, that intensity, those racing thoughts, that sensitivity, what if when you finally understand and harness them, they're actually the source of your greatest strengths?